The U.S. Supreme Court sets the stage for a final dramatic day of its session that will take place tomorrow. And already today, the justices are handing down a key decision on reproductive care that they ruled that the Planned Parenthood organization cannot sue South Carolina over its decision to pull Medicaid funding because the group provides abortions. CNN's chief legal affairs correspondent Paula Reed is joining us right now. Walk us through this decision, Paula, and its impact, its possible far-reaching impact, I should say.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons this is such a significant case is because it threatens funding for Planned Parenthood, which is the leading provider of reproductive care here in the U.S. And this decision could provide a roadmap for other red states to target Planned Parenthood because this specific case deals with people who use Medicaid and their ability to select their doctor. Now, in this case, Planned Parenthood sued the state of South Carolina, after South Carolina pulled funding from Planned Parenthood because it provides abortions. So today the Supreme Court said that Planned Parenthood cannot sue the state of South Carolina over this decision to pull Medicaid funding. This decision was a 6-3 opinion written by Justice Neil Gorsuch, fell along partisan lines. But of course, this is another loss for Planned Parenthood just 3 years after the High Court overturned Roe v. Wade.
All right, Paula, thank you very much. One follow-up question for you. This leaves key decisions to be announced tomorrow. That would be the court's final day of the current session, right? What are we anticipating?
Yeah, a little bit of procrastination maybe on the part of the High Court here, Wolf. They've left 6 opinions for tomorrow, and among those are the 3 big ones that we're really watching. The biggest is about President Trump's effort to limit birthright citizenship, the idea that if you were born here, you are a U.S. citizen. That is something that has been recognized in this country for well over 100 years, and they are trying to overturn that or undo it through executive order. So the bigger issue that the justices are examining is the power that a single judge anywhere in the country has to block an administrative policy for the entire country. This is something, these nationwide injunctions have vexed every modern president, but because President Trump does so much through executive action, he has faced the greatest number of nationwide injunctions. This is a pet peeve for him and his Republican allies in Congress. So that's really the biggest case we're watching for. We could get that tomorrow. We're also watching 2 other cases. One about the rights parents have to lodge religious exemptions, religious objections, and get exemptions for certain parts of curriculum, school curriculum that deal with LGBTQ issues. The other case we're watching for comes out of Texas and the state's effort to limit access that minors have to pornography by requiring identification from adults to prove that they are over 18. While both sides of that case agree that keeping pornography from minors is a good thing, there are questions about whether requiring verification of age and identifying information is a violation of the First Amendment. So those are 3 of those 6 that we're waiting for that we expect we will get tomorrow, but it will be a blockbuster day from the Supreme Court tomorrow. So we'll be here bringing all of that live when those opinions start rolling at 10 a.m.
Yeah, right here in the Situation Room. We'll be watching it. Traditionally, the Supreme Court leaves the most important decisions of the session for that final day. So we'll have extensive live coverage of these final decisions tomorrow right here in the Situation Room. Paula Reed will be with us as well. Thank you very much.
CNN's chief Supreme Court analyst, Joan Biskupic, is here to explain what this all means and give us an update on the consequential cases that we are still waiting for the court to decide. Joan, it's so great to see you. You are the perfect person to be here because you are in the court. You were in there this morning listening to this. Let's first talk about the Planned Parenthood case, the significance of it, and what it means for Americans.
Sure. This was a 6-3 ruling controlled by the conservative majority that said that Planned Parenthood and any patients of Planned Parenthood do not have an individual right to sue South Carolina for cutting off Medicaid funding. South Carolina, which already, bans abortion at about 6 weeks, did not want to have any of its Medicaid funding going to Planned Parenthood because it performs abortions, and they did that, and individuals in the state and Planned Parenthood said we have a right, a civil rights right, to sue the state for this. Supreme Court said no, that it's not actually written in law, so you can't have it. Reversing where lower courts had been on this. This is something that, other judges had thought that individuals would have a right to sue under provision that says that Medicaid funding should be available to any of the recipients for any qualified provider. And Planned Parenthood arguably is a qualified provider of physicians services in the state. So major ruling, again, by a 6-3 vote. The liberals said that this not only will hurt women and others who use Planned Parenthood services in South Carolina, but it could prompt other states to then also try to withdraw funding. And this all comes, as you know, 3 years after the Supreme Court, again with the conservative majority, rolling back Roe v. Wade and the constitutional right to abortion.
And as you said, 6-3 decision,
Yeah.
the conservatives in the majority, of course, in this one. But tomorrow is the day. We're all waiting for the last day
Yeah.
of this term. These are just so viewers can see the cases that remain here. That includes birthright citizenship, LGBTQ books and school curriculum, age verification for porn sites, and also birthright citizenship. Such a huge case. What are you looking for tomorrow?
Well, just so our viewers know, we do not know when the last day is going to be until the Chief Justice announces it. And today, even with all those other decisions sitting out there, he said, we're only going to be here one more day. We're not going to spread this out. And this is very unusual to have so many big cases. Obviously, one real critical one that will involve the Trump administration is President Trump's desire to roll back birthright citizenship, which has been guaranteed for more than 150 years. Which would mean anyone who is not a citizen, their children born here, would not automatically have be born citizens. But that case specifically involves whether individual lower court judges can actually block a presidential policy nationwide. So that will have repercussions not just for the birthright citizenship issue, which is huge in and of itself, but for all of the president's other efforts. Another one, Manu, just for our audience, there's a big voting rights case out of Louisiana where Louisiana was found to be in violation of the Voting Rights Act by diluting the power of black voters there. So the state had to draw a second black majority district out of its 6 districts. And a group of white citizens came in and said, they took too much account of race here. And Louisiana is actually trying to defend this district, saying that it was trying to, first of all, protect incumbents in that state, very powerful state where the House Speaker is from, as a matter of fact. Yes, that they were trying to, navigate the rules of the Voting Rights Act and the Constitution's equality guarantee. So we'll have to see what they do on that, but that will actually involve have repercussions for a lot of congressional districts. And then there's one that's interesting that goes to the LGBTQ interests, where the question is, should parents be able to opt their elementary age children out of programs, instructional programs that involve gay rights and LGBT other materials there? So that's an important religious one that lots of people are writing for, the tension between the First Amendment and religion rights.
Blockbuster day that all of these, and then the voting rights one could have repercussions for the race for control of the House in the midterms next year. So
That's right.
And we know Joan Biskupic will be in the Supreme Court as those rulings are handed down.